Hi everybody, welcome back. How's it going? Hope you guys are well. I am going to check in on our African night crawlers today. This bin has been going now for 6 weeks. It started off with what I thought was 300 worms when I counted it. 3 weeks ago, there was actually 904. So they had bred. There'd been some hatchlings, and I think the person who I'd gotten the worms off of didn't really know how many he gave me. So that's been quite interesting. Before we start, look, I just want to say, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so. And I will try to continue to give you guys some quality content. This paper, again, it's just that delivery paper from Amazon. It's been working quite a treat, although I had some pressure. This is just a cardboard that was cardboard wrapping that was on something that I had delivered, and I had put another worm bin on top of this, and it was creating pressure, and the moisture really got soaked up into this. What I noticed was when I took off that other box, and this was slightly wet, when I removed this, worms had started to eat through this paper, and it got me thinking they like to have pressure on top. So it was an interesting thing. Something that I'm definitely going to be looking into more so. Just make sure. I think we do have a little wisp right there. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I find it very difficult to spot cocoons. They are there. I have seen them, but I'm just blind as a bat. And even when I've literally got my nose almost to the bedding, or if I've got my hat, if I've got a handful of bedding in my hands, with it right close to my eyes, I still can't see anything. It's dark. I've got no idea what's going on. But they're there. They're cool. The worm chow I gave them yesterday is completely gone. They love this chow. I also gave them some moisture. I keep changing my mind about this spin. It's only been 6 weeks. I was thinking of starting to try and dry it out to try and harvest some of the castings from here. However, I thought to myself, 6 weeks really isn't long enough, especially with the amount of bedding that I did have. This was around 5.5, 6 inches of bedding, and my bedding consists of peat moss, cardboard, dried leaves, gypsum, eggshells, coffee grinds. There's a video up here you can check to see what I do for my bedding. It's just a short 60-second video or whatever it is. And then, so they have consumed most of the cardboard. And the leaves, if you remember when I first started, I had a whole big layer of leaves on top of here, which I started to mix through it. And it's actually, they've done a really good job of eating through it. Because if I mix through this now, it's just some pumpkin sprout. The peanut shells, they haven't, I do break them down every now and again, but I do find sometimes worms and wisps inside of these. So they like that. It's like a little hideaway for them. So yeah, I was going to dry this bin out, and I thought to myself, you know what, it's too soon to do that, even though there are really good castings in here, because of the amount of worms and the rate at which they eat is quite fast and quite good. And look at the size of these guys. If you remember at the beginning, most of the worms were huge. There weren't very many small ones. There's a little wisp on this adult. But yeah, if I fluff this, there's just worms all through the bin. Different ages, different sizes. They're really enjoying this habitat. So, forgive me, I go off on tangents. So I was going to dry this out, and I thought to myself, no, these guys are still going through this bedding. And I think they're still really, really happy, and I can still get some more composting done through this. So what I'm going to do, as it was quite a large, no, it's quite deep. If you consider it, it's 5.5 inches. This is just an old cat litter tray. that I disinfected and repurposed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shred up some cardboard and just let it sit for a couple of days with some in some worm tea, just to get the microbes going, and then I'll add it to this bedding in the next check-in and fluffing. But yeah, you can see I did actually add some moisture to this bin yesterday, probably about probably around half a litre, and it was I added worm tea. I didn't add water, just to continue to give them some additional microbiology, which they don't need really, but they do love it. And I have a bucket of worm tea bubbling continuously, just on the side of this. You can't see it, so it was quite handy to have there, because I can just feed them, and moisten this whenever I need with that lovely nutrient dense aerated worm tea, and they love it. And the moisture level's great. So I'm going to keep this running for another 6 weeks before I start drying it out, and I'll probably add probably about another gallon of carbon to this, just to give them some more carbon in their diet, even though they're getting worm chow, and there is still leaves in here. There are still small shreds, albeit tiny, little pieces of that shredded cardboard in here. And you have to remember, this cardboard was probably like an inch long and half an inch wide. Because I don't have a shredder, I cut them by hand, which was a tedious task. And it's probably why I have bedding, like mixed bedding, sitting around, but I don't have just pure shredded cardboard sitting around aging to use. So because it was such a tedious task last time, I haven't done it, and I've been busy. Obviously Christmas came, New Year came, visitors came from overseas, which they just left today, so I can focus a little bit more. But these guys are happy, and then what I'll do now is I'll just give them some more worm chow, because they absolutely adore it. Give them a little cover and a kiss goodnight and put them to bed. This is my famous worm chow. These guys go crazy for it. There's a link up here if you want to see the recipe and how that's made. And I'm just going to put them a couple of tablespoons and I like to feed all over. I don't have feeding zones as of yet, but I will do. I feed all the way up to the edges. I really don't care. If they want to escape it, which they haven't so far, they will go down, because there's enough space for them to go down, and there's no other wet food in there for them to try to avoid. So, but yeah, they seem to be up and eating it all the time, which is great. And these guys are super happy. So yeah, I'll give them another few days before I add, well, a week by the time I cut the cardboard and do all that jazz. But again, thank you for watching. Please hit the like, hit the subscribe button. You know what to do. Show your boys some love, and thank you again for visiting. See you soon.